Hello everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Axus Draws. I think this video should be going out the day before we start our very first stream of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. So here's the drawing video for the thumbnail. I'm actually pretty proud of myself for this one. Not necessarily because I think it came out like incredible or anything, but because, well, it came out decent and I finished it within like 2.5 hours. That's like record time for me, to line, base color, and shade something. The sketch on paper was also pretty quick. But yeah, the biggest thing I think I struggled with in this drawing, honestly, was trying to combine Phoenix's and Layton's design together in both a recognizable and not too dumb looking way. I mean, in the end, I literally combined Phoenix's suit and Layton's hat, but like, I was struggling to think about which elements and which colors to pick, because you can play as both of them in this game after all. Oh, I guess the other thing was trying to figure out a pose that was like compact enough to fit my character somewhere on the title for this game. I had to draw a couple different poses, but anyways, you guys, there is something very important I need to talk about today. Can I just take a moment while the lining is going on to rant about how hard it was to set up this game? To the point where I was almost gonna give up and just like do something else entirely. Oh my god. I would have felt so embarrassed because I'd already hyped it up and like promised I was gonna do it, especially after doing like Dagyakuten Saiban. This is like another really cool spin-off game, right? Man, this is why I usually keep the game I play next a secret, because you know, stuff like this can just go super wrong. It's great. Next time, I'm just gonna not say anything so I don't trap myself in this situation again. I'm doing this to myself, honestly. Like, nobody's gonna actually kill me, but like, still though. Anyway, so I'll try to explain this the best that I can for those who do not mess with this kind of stuff. So, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright is on the 3DS, and exclusively the 3DS. If it was on like iOS or Android or even the Switch, I could very feasibly record any of those things, but the 3DS has always been a tricky monster. The only high quality and painless way to record the 3DS is to send your 3DS in or buy one modded by, I think it was just like 2 people, Katsukitty and Loopy. I hesitated for a long time because the only game I had ever really wanted to do on the 3DS for a long time was Triforce Heroes. I still want to do it, but anyways, I didn't think the $300 or so cost for the modding was worth it, but now I would have done it in a heartbeat, except I learned that back in about January, Katsukitty was stopping their business like forever. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. It'd be impossible to get your hands on like a 3DS capture card at this day and age because like it's not being made. No one's really selling theirs. If they're probably keeping it if they have one. And I think the other person, Loopy, is still doing them. I think it's like super limited. There's like no slots open. It would just be hard to get one on a short notice at this point. So what next? There is a 3DS emulator called Citra, but it requires an insane amount of power to run, and my computer has to put everything it has into just running the game, meaning I cannot stream on top of that or everything is gonna blow up. Sometimes I do like a double laptop setup when my computer can't handle recording and playing a game and recording our mic audio at the same time, that's something we're actually doing with Baba Is You. But the issue here is that the second laptop that we're using is a Mac. It being a Mac has caused all kinds of roadblocks and issues. For one, Macs don't have Streamlabs, OBS Streamlabs, the thing I use to stream, so can't use it to stream, and I can't capture my Windows laptop that's playing the game. So how about the reverse? What if my Windows laptop streams and captures the Mac playing the game? Well, the Mac is too weak to run the game properly. It's just lagging all over the place. Literally, I was testing it. It runs the cutscenes just fine, which you'd think it wouldn't, but as soon as it goes to like a place where there's 3D models and they're talking, it's like, Professor, what's going on? It's the worst. It's the worst. And I can't update Citra on the Mac because it does this stupid problem. This is like a whole nother monster. It does this weird thing where if you have the latest version, it's like, oh, I can't run it because you don't have the latest version of blah, blah, blah. It's like some weird mistake. I have no idea. So like, I can't update it to see if it'll run faster because it won't even run the game if I update it. I've been going through a lot, you guys. I've been going through a lot. So I reach out to friends who are incredible and amazing, and they try to help me. One was almost able to get me an actual 3DS capture card from a YouTuber friend, so that was really exciting, but that person is still using it, and they're all the way, I believe, in Seattle, so that was a no-go. And then I also asked around for the impossible item of a newer Windows laptop that is both strong enough to run Streamlabs and also not being used for a while. How am I gonna find that? Who has one just lying around that's like a newer one, not like a Windows XP one that's just sitting there and collecting dust, right? Who has one that they're not using that's newer? But my dear sweet mother actually found a friend who has one, and I just got it last night. And it was a nightmare trying to run tests on it. So first I was so excited to even get it. Then I ran a bunch of tests last night and it was just horrible. No audio was being patched through to this laptop. Everything was slowing down until I changed a couple settings on my computer. It was just a nightmare. And finally, after hours of pain, I finally got something working. When I stream today, after this video comes out, I pray everything will go well. And I also vow to never stream a 3DS game again unless I somehow get a 3DS capture card. If anyone listening to me has one, I will absolutely pay you for it, okay? I'm being serious. Woo-wee! All right, so as lengthy as that was just really an abridged version of all the pain I went through for this. This is all after I finished the drawing that is happening on the screen here, and I was so proud of myself for getting all this done, all the visual assets, the stuff that needs to go, like, oh, streaming live or whatever, and the thumbnail, I finished all that. So after that, it was just a bunch of crushing stress and anxiety for a while. It was great! I hope everyone enjoys this series that I lost years of my life over trying to set up. Out of all the games I have ever tried to record, this has definitely been the most challenging. I needed an outlet to explain the pain I went through because I know I shouldn't be ranting about this forever on the stream itself because I'd probably piss some people off, you know? Anyways, again, I pray that today goes well, and at the very least, I'm still happy with this drawing. Let's finally talk about it, huh? So right now what's happening is this is the part where I was struggling to figure out which colors to pick from both characters, because I felt like I didn't get enough from Layton. So he's, I mean, his coat and his pants and everything, it's all kind of plain. So he's got a little, orange shirt, but he's got, a red band around his hat's stripy thing. So I was like, maybe I should grab his orange, maybe I should change the suit to black or the pants to black, and I just couldn't figure it out. Eventually, though, I think I just decided on a red band and a red tie. So mostly, it really just looks like Phoenix is wearing Layton's hat, and that's fine. I decided I liked white pants, though. I thought that was a little different, even though, one's wearing black, one's wearing blue, but anyways, I ended up liking that. It looks kind of weird, but it's like one is cosplaying the other, so, works out. I'm cosplaying both of them at the same time, For the Daigakuten Saiban thumbnail, I stared super hard at the cover art and tried to emulate it to learn new things, and I did that less so here, but I still tried to reference the cover art a little because I really, really love it. I learned when playing Daigakuten Saiban that the artist's name is Kazuya Nuri, and I just really adore their art so much. I remember when Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright first came out, I was totally floored by the art. I was like, whoa, look at those amazing colors and composition. I've never seen this before in either of the franchises, and yet it feels like it fits them both so well. How the heck do you manage to make fully proportioned anime characters mesh in the same image as super flat 2D cartoony characters and not compromise their designs? I don't know what they did, but they managed to pull it off. Not only do I really like the super painterly vibe, but I also love the just plethora of colors. Look at those colors right there. And they have these, if you zoom in, there's these really sketchy lines that they kind of stick on everything. At the same time, they also have really clean and clear lines. There's just a contrast here, and it just works so well. I definitely would love to buy art books by Kazuya Nuri because I feel like there's just so much here that I'd love to integrate into my own art. Aside from that, I'm trying to remember exactly how I felt when I first saw this game, because I know I was super, super stoked and shocked because they were my two favorite franchises in the whole world. I played all their games up until the game came out, and even now I still have played pretty much every single game in both franchises except for Daigakuten Saiban 2, but I will get to that when the amazing Scarlet Study gets around to it. I won't say what I thought about this game when I first played it just yet, so that we can all experience it together throughout the streams coming up, but just know that this was the dream crossover that I couldn't believe was real when it was first announced. If they ever did any more crossovers, I would die happy. Though, mean, it's been a while since any new Layton games were announced, and I guess the same with Ace Attorney, but the fan base is strong, so I'm sure something will come out of it eventually. Okay, but enough blabbing about that. In every drawing video, I always share at least one new thing I learned from drawing it. So the new thing I tried out in this one was in the shading. First of all, I used a lot more soft brushing and smudging and blending than I usually do, kind of like here. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm trying to put down some light colors here and, making the pants look a little more dimensional. You know what I'm saying? I also never quite paid attention to lining the edges of like parts, arms, legs, any part of it with either shadows or highlights to kind of make it more dimensional, even though the placement of them doesn't make much sense in my drawing according to the probably non-existent light source. I tried putting them in there and I think it looks kind of cool. It was fun to try and see how it made her pop a little more, even if it's not perfect. It was a good experiment. Another technique I saw in other artist drawings that I really liked was lining the area where light and shadow meet with a color that kind of both pops and blends at the same time, if that makes sense. So specifically like the light pink I put in areas on the blue suit top and on the pants and other regions of white. You can kind of see where I put like, just a little pink to sort of line that. I really liked how it looked in other people's drawings, so I wanted to try that out too. Don't know if it turned out okay, but it seems kind of cool. Working on this drawing has made me slightly more confident in trying to venture back into full illustrations. I know I've probably said that multiple times, but I don't know, there's just this weird fear that's holding me back from going to those prints I made years ago. I even did a Phoenix Wright print a while back that I was pretty proud of, but I'd love to draw more and do new ones because it's been literal years. My techniques have changed a lot since then, and I'm not sure what kind of style to gravitate towards, but I think just going in with a mishmash of approaches that I've picked up should go okay. I used to approach with solely a painterly style, starting in black and white and adding color after the fact, and now I've actually been lining and painting inside the base colors, starting with actual color instead of black and white. It's super different, and I don't think I can nail the values really well with this approach so far, but I'm getting better. I do have to put a million layers of different filters on top sometimes to help with the contrast and values, but these tools are here for us to use, damn it! Anyways, slightly off topic, but sometimes I think about really wanting to put a little book together of all the art we've done for this channel over the past couple of years. They weren't always top-notch, super detailed illustrations, obviously. In fact, for the most part, they were really simplistic and quick because they were just fast, silly drawings of our characters for the thumbnails, but I think it's a pretty impressive library of our characters cosplaying as other characters. Maybe I'll do that someday. It'd be nice to see it all in one place. It would probably be a nightmare to both format and have it print nicely because none of these drawings were ever made with printing in mind, so the resolution is probably way too small and would turn out pixely as heck, but maybe a digital book compilation would probably be good enough for me, honestly. I've mentioned this a couple times, but Astro Girl was never supposed to represent me, so it's kind of amazing to see that I've created so many iterations of her now. It was also very fun to see what my friends came up with to represent themselves, and I love how everybody turned out. Not only do I get to doodle my friends and my character together, but I also get to draw them in all kinds of different styles depending on the game sometimes. It's really fun to see my character next to this amazing cast of characters, and it was fun to sort-of emulate their lining and coloring style. It was also slightly more challenging to format this particular thumbnail because of where everything sits, so that was a good puzzle to wrangle with. You can see that I'm deciding on putting her there. So I ended up having to find a PNG of the logo to hide my character behind because there's no way in hell I'm going to manually erase everything that she is supposed to, that's supposed to be sitting on top of her. Get what I'm saying? I also had to place the number for episode 1, episode 2. I had to place the number in the bottom right specifically, you will see in a second, because placing it in the top right, when it goes to double digits, going 1 digit, it looks fine. You just put the number 1 there, bam, done. Going into double digits, up if you're on episode 10 or whatever, it would end up blocking the lovely lady's face on the top right, which would have been a problem. So there is room on the bottom right because next to Maya, it's just her bottom half. So if I have 2 numbers, there'll be no problem. You can still see her beautiful face. There is a lot that you don't think about until you get there last minute. It's a great time. It's a fun puzzle. That makes me think of a puzzle. But anyways, here is the finished thumbnail drawing. Thanks for coming along and listening to me straight up rant for a million years about the stupid 3DS capturing process. And I hope you'll join me for the streams of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. If you're watching this when I've already finished streaming, I hope you'll go along for the journey nonetheless. Thanks again, and I will see you guys next time. This is Axus, over and out.